Shouts out to all my loved ones. Love y'all all to death. Love all y'all to life. Because we living to die and we die to live again. Giving all praises to the Most High God for the breath, for the words. And as we always come to you in peace, we come to you in the name of the Most High God. And we're going to ask him for grace and guidance and mercy. And these are the things that we need as we move forward and going through this life, man. This crazy, crazy life. How's all my loved ones doing out there this evening, man? Is everybody breathing? Is everybody breathing? Because if you're breathing, you got an opportunity to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Once again, you on the line with your boy, Bam Bam Belly Young, one of Watt's favorite sons, representing 10 foes where I stand 10 toes down, east side ours, because the east side, it's ours. Give a shout out to all my loved ones in the hood from every corner of Watts. We love all of y'all. All my brothers out there putting in that work, man, doing their part to try to make this condition that we was forced into, you know, trying to shape it up a little bit so the generations coming up after us can have it a little better, yeah? Shouts out to all my brothers, man, out there putting in that work, man. See my boy, you big you in the house, man. Love you to death, man. My man from the Nella up in here with the, my fellow from the Nella. Shouts out to all my partners from Compton, all my Compton Power Root partners, all my Compton Crip homies. You know what I'm saying? I got all that. Shouts out to all the homies, man. I don't want to call them all, try to call every neighborhood, because I trust me, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of dudes, man. But if y'all know who I is, y'all know I love y'all, man. Coming up, y'all, did this evening, man. We got some good things going on. Cause I'm gonna be putting the flyer into the chat later on, so everybody can see that and see what we got crack-a-lacking in the neighborhood as far as I go for this backpack giveaway for the community. You understand? The homeboy brand new is heading that up on behalf of Social Solutions Institute, the organization founded by Twilight over in London, England. You know, they have a chapter here in the United States, United Snakes. Like we've been trying to keep that work going, keep that work alive, man, many years. But yeah, we servicing our community, man, because the truth is the Haitians ain't got nobody, man. We ain't got nobody but ourselves, man. We the little baby that in the area that nobody, they don't want to give a bottle to. All the big kids get a whole plate of food, man. But sometimes it bees like that. But if you can't feed the baby, then don't have the baby. You'll be always trying, stop that child from crying. That's why I be in all those meetings, showing up, showing out, making sure they hear my voice and speak for the neighborhood, and making sure everybody, if there's anybody who claimed that they about anything, knows that our area is neglected. We don't get the same resources and programming that the other developments get, especially once I step down as president, man. Not trying to toot my own horn, but yo, we had programming, and everybody in the Aussies will tell you that when JB was doing his thing over there. But yeah, man, it is like that sometimes, but we can always do our part to try to keep something in the neighborhood where it's all good, man. Shouts out to the brothers that do support the neighborhood, and we got a whole list of cats that we can name, but we're gonna get into that. We're gonna do a whole video just about our partnerships and organizations that we work with that's trying to help us keep some kind of programming going on in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause we trying to, we don't want these babies idle, man. That's where the craziness come in, man. You gotta get these kids something to do, get these young babies something to do, get these young adults some work, some a way to make a living, to earn them some money. These are the two things that could instantly change the condition in the communities, in the Watts community in particular. I know people try to make it sound like, you know, our little babies, our homies, our whoever don't want, oh man, they don't want this, they don't want that, man, go on with that. It's not like that at all. Everybody know better than that, man. We just keeping it for real, for real. But yeah, man, we got a nice little show put together for y'all this here evening. Gonna get off into some things because there's some things that been on my mind, and I'm just want to put them on y'all mind too, huh? How about that? Yeah, man. Because if I'm thinking about it, you could think about it too, man. Maybe we could think together and come up with some clever ways to help, you know, get some things right for, you know, or whatever, man. Because yo, some real craziness going on right now. But yeah, today's show is called What's Going On with Justice for Just Us. And before we start the show, we're gonna start this show, and there's gonna be a whole lot of other shows. We're gonna start off this way. We're gonna start this show off with some scripture. A little bit of scripture just to, put y'all up on I'm gonna put the spirit on you while y'all watch this particular show. I want the Spirit of God to be with you. And the best way to do that is to introduce the word to you. You hear the word, read the word, and then pay attention to what you're going to be watching or whatever. You understand? So yeah, that's what it's all about. So without further ado, let's get that scripture, and then we'll get off into the show and the videos that we're going to be responding to. And we'll go from there, yeah? Yes, sir. Who is this hitting me up right quick? Let me check my message right quick. Who that? He's bumping them thumbs. Ah, my man. Did you try to call me or something, fool? I probably did. But okay. Well, coming back. All right, man. So I want y'all to take a look at this scripture here and read this with me. What does it say? This is Zechariah, the 11th chapter, chapter 5 through 7. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not. Can you dig it? We're going to come back to this because it's a reason why the scriptures plan has a lot to do with today's show. We'll get into the show, and then we're going to come back to this as we need to throughout the show. And we'll match it up like fingerprints, because that's what that book is all about. That book in your house that's got all that dust on it, it's about matching up the fingerprints, baby. And we have an obligation to match up the fingerprints, to put the puzzle together. It's not going to be simple. It's going to take the spirit. It's going to take diligence. Study and show thyself approved unto God, a workman who need not be ashamed, righteously dividing the words of truth. Yeah, you'll be able to do it, but you're going to have to study to do it. Like I told my beloved daughter, like I say to my son right now today, you're going to be learning for the rest of your life. You might as well get used to it. Can you dig it? So yes, without further ado, like I said, let's get off into these videos, because I want y'all to check this out with me, and we'll all get a little smarter together, yeah? Let's go. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Racist cops killers who got what they deserved, real sentences, real justice. Welcome back to Justice Reversed, where real crimes meet real justice. Today,
check out my brother's his link is in the description box. Justice Reverse. I just got up on this cat, man, but he got some good videos, he got some good content. And if you're a content creator, all y'all's content creators got to help each other out, man. And I always like to give shouts out to the content creator. So yeah, check him out. His link is in the description. But this particular video, yeah, well, remember what we just talked about, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. This is predicted to happen to a certain group, nation of people. Let's go.
we expose 9 real cases where officers pulled the trigger, choked the breath, even emptied entire clips, not on armed suspects, but on innocent black civilians. They were simply driving, walking, or calling for help. Number 1, Derek Michael Chauvin. A knee that stayed too long, long enough to silence a man, spark a global movement, and question who justice truly serves. Derek Michael Chauvin, a 44-year-old white police officer. With nearly 2 decades in the Minneapolis Police Department and prior service in the Army Reserve, he had the training. But on May 25, 2020, that didn't stop him from kneeling on the neck of George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man suspected of using a fake $20 bill. For 9 minutes and 29 seconds, Chauvin pressed his body weight into Floyd's neck as Floyd pleaded, "I can't breathe." Bystanders recorded the scene in horror, their videos quickly igniting protests that swept across the United States and beyond. What followed became one of the most high-profile murder trials in American history. Chauvin was charged with second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. On April 20th, 2021, a jury of 6 white and 6 black or multiracial jurors found him guilty on all counts. At sentencing, Judge Peter Cahill cited multiple aggravating factors: the particular cruelty shown, abuse of position, failure to administer aid, and the trauma inflicted on child witnesses. Chauvin received 22.5 years in state prison. Later, he also pleaded guilty to federal charges of civil rights violations, including a separate assault on a 14-year-old boy. For that, he received 21 more years, served concurrently. But even behind bars, the case wasn't over. In November 2023, Chauvin was stabbed 22 times by another inmate in an Arizona prison.
Yeah, something like that happened, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Survived and was transferred to a lower security federal facility in Texas. His legal team has continued to pursue appeals, including attempts to vacate his federal conviction based on newly introduced medical theories about Floyd's cause of death. All have failed, so far. Despite the lack of hate crime charges, many saw the murder as inseparable from America's legacy of racial violence. The method, kneeling on a black man's neck in broad daylight, resonated with centuries of systemic injustice. Civil rights groups, Black Lives Matter activists, and even global leaders called Floyd's death a turning point. But calls for deeper reform remain largely unmet. Chauvin's defenders claim he was doing his job. His mother called him innocent. But millions around the world watched the video and saw something else: a man sworn to protect the public showing no regard for human life. The Floyd family, meanwhile, found little comfort in the sentence. The trial did mark a rare legal victory, one where a police officer was held criminally responsible for killing a black civilian. But its rarity is the warning. Record everything. If stopped, turn on your phone. Visibility is often your only defense. Stay vocal, but non-confrontational. Silence can be fatal, but so can resistance. Speak calmly, but clearly assert your rights. Don't assume training equals safety. Some officers ignore protocol. Stay alert. Compliance doesn't guarantee protection. George Floyd didn't get a second breath, but Derek Chauvin got a second chance at court, at appeals, even at survival. America is still deciding what that says about justice. Number 2, Jason Van Dyke. He didn't rush, didn't threaten, didn't fight. But in just seconds, 16 bullets turned Laquan McDonald into a symbol of everything broken between race and law enforcement in America. Jason Van Dyke, a white 14-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department and former U.S. Coast Guard member, had responded to a call about a black teenager allegedly breaking into cars. 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was found walking down a street holding a knife. He wasn't charging. He was simply walking. Dashcam video would later show McDonald turning his back when Van Dyke arrived. Within 6 seconds of exiting his squad car, Van Dyke opened fire. He didn't hesitate. He pulled the trigger, again and again. 16 shots in total. The first bullets knocked Laquan to the pavement. Still, Van Dyke kept firing as McDonald lay crumpled on the road. 9 bullets struck him in the back. Van Dyke later claimed he feared for his life, saying McDonald was wielding a knife and appeared dangerous. But his fellow officers didn't fire a single shot. Their accounts were later contradicted by dashcam footage and a forensic investigation that showed McDonald was walking away when he was killed. The case might have vanished in...
Meaning he was not a threat. You understand? But if that camera, that footage,
to another police report if not for the video. The city fought its release for more than a year.
The city fought the release of the evidence for more than a year, whose possessors slayed them and hold themselves not guilty.
The court-ordered disclosure, spurred by lawsuits from journalists and activists, forced the truth into the public eye. What people saw outraged the nation: a teen executed in the street, no threat visible, and no justification given. Public pressure mounted. Protesters flooded Chicago under chants of 16 shots and a cover-up. The video sparked citywide unrest, led to the firing of police officials, and triggered a federal civil rights investigation. In 2018, Van Dyke was charged and convicted, not of first-degree murder, but second-degree. The jury also found him guilty of 16 counts of aggravated battery, one for each shot fired. He was sentenced to just 81 months, under 7 years, for all
81 months. Each bullet accounted for a different charge, they said. He got 81 months, bro.
all of it. Critics called it a cop sentence. Advocacy groups like the NAACP, Rainbow Push Coalition, and national legal experts decried the leniency. Families asked why 16 bullets earned less than 7 years. Many questioned why the judge ignored the aggravated battery counts in sentencing. Laquan's family expressed heartbreak and frustration. Still, some, like McDonald's mother, found space for forgiveness, though they admitted it offered little peace.
We always talk about we forgive somebody, man. Always talk about we forgive somebody. The scriptures clearly say, never trust thy enemy, for like iron is sure to rust, so is his wickedness. It must make clear to us that we have enemies, man. Possess the slayers, know themselves not guilty. Look, that's the thing about it. I know y'all probably, some people gonna look at this video and say, well, these officers are actually getting going some kind of punishment. Or, I mean, most of them don't. I want to hear all that. This is not punishment. That's the point here. Possess to slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
The case brought tangible change. A federal consent decree mandated sweeping reforms in the Chicago Police Department. Body camera policies, training protocols, and accountability systems were overhauled. But by 2024, only 7% of those reforms had been achieved, revealing
7% of this overhaul reforms that was supposed to be put in place. 7%. 7% got achieved.
how deep resistance to change runs. This tragedy offers a trio of warnings. Never assume staying calm guarantees your safety. Prejudice often overrides perception. If possible, document every encounter. Your video may become your defense. Always inform others of your whereabouts. Witnesses can save lives. Laquan McDonald was denied justice in life. The question now is whether his death will keep forcing change or fade into the silence where so many names have already disappeared. Number 3, Brett Hankison. It began with a battering ram and ended with bullets in 3 apartments.
Yeah, man, this one right here. Sad, man.
But what stunned the nation wasn't just who was killed, but who wasn't, and why justice took years to arrive. On March 13, 2020, in the quiet hours before dawn, Louisville Metro Police launched a raid on the apartment of 26-year-old Breonna Taylor. The no-knock warrant, tied to a narcotics investigation, targeted her home, though no drugs were ever found inside. As officers broke down her door, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, thinking intruders were forcing entry, fired a single shot. Police returned fire with over 30 rounds. Brett Hankison.
I promise you, if the exact same thing happened to my house in the middle of the night, y'all gonna get more than 1 round sent at y'all. There's a good chance they're gonna kill me. Because I got a family. You know what I'm saying? Just like this man jumped up and went into defense mode because his woman is right there. He protecting his, we went into protection mode. That's his, he got a family. You see this, man? This one was like the worst right here, yo.
One of the officers on scene, didn't fire from the doorway. He ran to the side of the building and opened fire, blindly, through a curtained window and sliding glass door. 10 bullets tore through the apartment, 3 piercing into a neighboring unit where a pregnant woman, her boyfriend, and their 5-year-old child were asleep.
He blindly shot in. He didn't have no visual sight on a target. Goddamn devil.
No one in that second apartment was hit. But as one federal prosecutor later put it, the result could have been a mass casualty event. Unlike the
I wonder what the ethnicity was of the neighboring folk. Just curious.
Officers who fired directly into Taylor's apartment, Hankison was charged federally, not for killing Breonna Taylor, but for violating civil rights and endangering others. The
Not for murder, first degree or second degree, not even for manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, no. Violating civil rights and endangering the people in the other apartment. This is what he got charged with. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
The DOJ alleged his use of force was unconstitutional. He fired without line of sight, without a target, and without justification. During his trial, Hankison claimed he acted to protect his fellow officers. But the jury in November 2024 found otherwise, convicting him on one count. Judge Rebecca Grady Jennings, in her July 2025 sentencing, rejected the Justice Department's surprising recommendation of just 1 day in prison, saying it would have minimized the verdict and sent the wrong message about public accountability. Instead, she sentenced him to 33 months in prison, plus 3 years of supervised release. This was not an inconsequential crime, she said sternly. We're fortunate no one else died. The DOJ's lenient stance sparked backlash. Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, called it an insult. Her family's legal team said the government's request betrayed the jury's decision. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump acknowledged the sentence wasn't what they had hoped for, but noted, at least he's going to prison.
At least he's going to prison. What do you expect from a booty-faced brother? At least he's going to prison. Man.
Matters. Even Hankison's attempt to secure a new trial fell flat. Judge Jennings called the motion disjointed and accused his defense of throwing everything at the wall. Outside court, demonstrators held up signs and chanted Breonna's name. Her death, alongside the killings of George Floyd and others, had sparked the largest racial justice protests in U.S. history. Yet 5 years later, the path to any conviction had been long and uncertain. From shattered glass to a fractured system, this case offers more than just outrage. It delivers 3 sharp warnings. Know your legal rights when police enter your home, even during raids. Avoid sudden reactions that can be misread as threats, especially while black. Record, report, and stay informed about local law enforcement practices. Silence can cost lives. The law didn't convict Brett Hankison.
How the fuck is a no-knock warrant even legal? Just busting somebody's door in the middle of the night, man. And here it is, they found nothing. There was nothing in there. Only thing they did was kill this man's woman right in front of him. He did better than I did, man. I don't know if the gunplay would have stopped that, man. I don't know.
For murder, but it did hold him accountable for recklessness. And in that narrow space, between intention and impact, lies the question Americans still ask. If justice demands restraint, why does accountability come so late and cost so little?
Because there's no justice for just us. We don't got no embassy, man. We don't have this. We're not sovereign. We're not a nation within a nation. We're like property, yo. We are yet this day in our captivity. No man can redeem us. He was sold to our enemies, for bond men and bond women, and no man has been able to redeem us. Marcus, Malcolm, Martin integrated us into a burning house, where our possessors slay us and hold themselves not guilty.
Number 4, D. Bowers. A broken window wasn't the start. It was the answer. To a question William McNeil Jr. asked calmly, "Why am I being stopped?" Seconds later, he got punched in the face for no reason at all. At 22, William McNeil Jr. wasn't a threat. He was a scholar, a band leader, and a musician. Until a broken window made him a headline. On February 19, 2025, in Jacksonville, Florida, he was driving home when sheriff's deputies pulled him over. The alleged reason is no headlights in light rain, no seatbelt, minor infractions until they weren't. Video from McNeil's own cell phone reveals a haunting silence broken by violence. He remains composed, asking why he's being detained. "I just want a supervisor," he says. But officers ignore his words. Officer D. Bowers smashes the window with his baton, shattering glass into the cabin, then punches McNeil on the left side of his face. Another deputy...
And this right here is why you got This is why you got white folks coming from other countries to the United States thinking they can walk up and just slap a black man in the face. And then they don't have to worry about getting arrested or nothing because all their lawyer got to do is say he don't want to talk. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. They done arrested like what, 5 black people at this point? Have they even thought about that? I mean, they keep talking about pressing charges against the guy who threw the first punch, who initiated the entire melee, who actually was shouting racial slurs. Have they even brought him in and processed him, fingerprinted him, anything? While they talking about charging these black folks with hate crime? They was the ones getting called the racial slurs, but they gonna get charged with the hate crime. And they ain't even arrested this dude yet, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
He unlatches his seatbelt, yanks him from the car, and throws him onto the asphalt. That wasn't the end. As he lies face down, handcuffed, at least 3 officers swarm him. One punches him in the thigh 6 times. Another drives his face into the pavement. McNeil later told reporters, "I truly thought I wouldn't make it out." His injuries were extensive: a chipped tooth, 9 stitches where it pierced his lip, a concussion, memory loss, and symptoms of brain trauma. McNeil now struggles with nightmares, disorientation, and a deep mistrust of law enforcement. "I did everything I was taught," he said, "but the rules didn't protect me." And still, the only one arrested was him. McNeil was charged with resisting an officer without violence and driving on a suspended license. He pleaded guilty and served 2 days in jail. Charges for marijuana possession, no headlights, and not wearing a seatbelt were all dropped. The officers? None were charged. The state attorney's office concluded they had not.
Now the youngster was testing his ass. Man, you out there with your license suspended, you got blood in the car, and they said you had a knife or something in there, something like that. Yeah, man. I can see why you was upset that they stopped you. And I could see why you was trying to find out what was their legitimate reason for stopping you, because if y'all ain't got one, my 4th Amendment right, y'all can't violate it. There's no reason for stopping me. I don't have to hand over no documents. But you're being stopped, bro. Law enforcement. You know they're going to push everything to the limit. It's a stop. You're going to have to deal with it like a stop. Don't get me twisted, though. I still say when the young man asked for the supervisor, he should have got one. Because all this stuff that they saying that he had, none of that was known at that time. When he asked for that supervisor, he supposed to got a supervisor. I don't know. Florida's, these different police and counties and whatever. Florida's a stand your ground state unless you black. Council law in Florida, unless you're black. You know what I'm saying? You might get yourself caught up. Real talk. But real talk, man, you sucker punched the kid, man. You fired on him. Straight dope fiend. While he's sitting in the car, man, where I come from, that was a fight once you did that. No, we gonna have to get down. And here it is, he got out the car and still wasn't trying to be combative with y'all, even though y'all kept shouting, stop resisting, stop resisting.
Broken the law, even though their report omitted crucial facts, like the punches. Officer Bowers remains under internal review, temporarily stripped of authority. But no criminal case has been filed. Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters defended the deputies, stating, "Compliance is mandatory, even if you disagree." Civil rights attorney Ben Crump called the incident state-sanctioned brutality, adding, "Had this been a white college student, we wouldn't be here today." He and co-counsel Harry Daniels pointed to racial disparities in trafficking.
Yeah, Ben Stump is right about that. I think so as well. I don't think they would have, nah. They probably would have just told him, man, turn your lights on. And hey, the Caucasian kid probably would have gave him way more lip than this youngster did, because nobody seen no rain and it was still daybreak.
Enforcement. 63 of the 78 citations for headlight violations in Jacksonville over 3 years went to black drivers. Daniels said plainly, this was about fear and the abuse of power. McNeil's mother, Latoya Solomon, said, "I cried for hours. I knew what the outcome could have been." His stepfather, visibly emotional, relived his own police beating at age 22. "It's like history repeated itself," he said. "Only this time, it was caught on video." What happened next wasn't just violence, it revealed lessons too urgent to ignore. Even calm, lawful behavior can be met with force, especially if you're black. Always record police encounters when safe. Video may be your only.
Always record. Pull out your phone, man. And everybody that's standing around, pull y'all phones out too, man. Like I said on the last video, I heard a police captain saying, oh, we don't need more cameras. There's plenty of cameras. Well, I think that we're good with cameras. Y'all good with cameras when they come in handy for y'all. But not when people got cameras that's in recording y'all and y'all out there violating and abusing your authority and acting like tyrants. You know what I'm saying?
Defense. Don't assume minor infractions will stay minor. A broken taillight shouldn't break your life, but it can if power goes unchecked. McNeil survived, but the trust he lost in that moment may never return. And across America, too many still ask, when the badge breaks the rules, who pays the price? Number 5, Andrew Hall. A knock on a stranger's door shouldn't lead to death. But in one California town, what began as a routine welfare call ended in fatal gunfire, and another warning about how the system handles race, fear, and mental illness. Andrew Hall, a deputy with the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office contracted to serve Danville, responded on November 3, 2018, to reports of a suspicious person knocking on doors. That person was Laudimir Arboleda, a 33-year-old black man with diagnosed mental health conditions, including paranoia. When officers tried to stop his vehicle, Arboleda slowly drove away, never exceeding 6 miles per hour. A low-speed pursuit unfolded through the suburban streets, ending when Hall blocked Arboleda's path. With his squad car positioned diagonally in front of the vehicle, Hall stepped out, raised his gun, and within seconds fired 9 rounds through the front windshield and passenger window. Arboleda, who was unarmed and posed no imminent threat, was struck multiple times and died at the scene. The shooting stunned the community. Video evidence revealed Arboleda had never accelerated toward Hall. Prosecutors argued Hall had other options: back away, reposition, or de-escalate, but instead chose lethal force. At trial, they emphasized that Hall violated not only department policy, but also basic rules of proportionality and restraint. A jury convicted Hall in 2021 of felony assault with a firearm and inflicting great bodily injury. However, they deadlocked on voluntary manslaughter. Judge Terry Mockler sentenced Hall to 6 years in state prison. She
6 years state prison. He'll be out in 3.
Called his actions extremely poor choices, stating that Arboleda did not deserve to die for evading a police officer. The sentence carried a requirement that Hall serve at least 85% of his term. But in early 2024, Hall was quietly released.
Hall was quietly released
After serving less than 3 years.
Less than 3 years.
The California Department of Corrections cited credits for good behavior and rehabilitation program participation. No public notice was issued. Jennifer Leong, Arboleda's sister, called the early release deeply re-traumatizing. Civil rights activists echoed her outrage. Bella Quinto Collins, whose brother died in a separate police confrontation in Antioch, said the lack of transparency proved the justice system still shields those in uniform from accountability. Hall's record added more weight to the anger. Less than 3 years after Arboleda's death and while still under investigation, Hall fatally shot Tyrell Wilson, another unarmed black man suffering from mental illness. That case resulted in no criminal charges. Critics said if Hall had been prosecuted earlier, Wilson might still be alive.
So this is the second brothers he killed, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Give a fuck about them getting no so-called time. 2 and 3 years. Quietly commuted.
This case raised complex questions about race, policing, and public safety. Hall had no proven racial motive, yet the outcomes echoed a pattern: black men in crisis, killed during encounters that demanded de-escalation, not bullets. Latimer's story leaves behind 3 survival warnings. If you live with mental illness, avoid public confrontations alone. Misunderstandings can turn deadly. In any police encounter, keep hands visible and movements minimal, even if the stop feels unfair. If you feel targeted, call someone to witness or record. Silence can be fatal. Laudimir Arboleda's final moments were marked by fear and confusion. Today, his silence reminds us that systems built to serve must be held to the same standards as those they police. Number 6, Eric DeValconaire. He wasn't fleeing. He wasn't armed. He was backing into his garage when two detectives entered his backyard uninvited. Within seconds, Cameron Lamb was dead, and a system built on trust began to collapse. On December 3, 2019, Kansas City detectives Eric DeValconaire and Troy Schwalm were tracking a red pickup truck involved in a high-speed domestic dispute. Their target, 26-year-old Cameron Lamb, a black father of three, had driven home and was slowly reversing into his basement garage. Without a warrant, without announcing themselves, the two plainclothes officers broke through a fence and rushed the property with guns drawn. What happened next changed Missouri law enforcement history. DeValconaire fired 4 shots. 2 hit Lamb. He died behind the wheel. The official account claimed Lamb pointed a gun, but DeValconaire's own partner contradicted him. Schwalm testified he never saw Lamb with a weapon. Prosecutors later alleged the gun found near Lamb's truck may have been planted. In court, they argued that DeValconaire and Schwalm had no legal right to be on the property and no justification for lethal force.
That's right. You got something called private property. I'm supposed to enter that property. There was no, what they call it, exorbitant circumstances, that bullshit that they use to try to say that that's their excuse for violating somebody's so-called rights. But we 3/5 of a human, understand? We don't technically supposed to get respected with having no rights. Y'all not familiar with the Dred Scott case? Look into it. The Dred Scott case, the man who sued the United States because he wanted his human rights. And went all the way to the Supreme Court. And one of the Supreme Court justices said, I'm paraphrasing, but he had said something to the effect that no black man has any rights that has to be respected by anyone in the United States of America. Like, y'all don't have rights to be respected. That was a Supreme Court case ruling. But the question becomes, when the Supreme Court case make a ruling, it becomes the law of the land. Now, I know that civil rights that came into play after that, but civil rights don't technically say black people. It says minorities. You see, black people actually need a special protection in this country because of our history in this country. People can say what they want, but it really should be that way.
During the 2021 bench trial, Judge J. Dale Youngs found DeValconaire guilty of second-degree involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action. He ruled the detective had escalated a calm situation with reckless force and had violated Lamb's constitutional rights. Without taking a breath to consider whether there might be a safer action, the judge said, he rushed forward with his gun drawn. DeValconaire testified that he acted to protect Schwalm, believing Lamb was about to shoot. But physical evidence and testimony suggested otherwise. The judge emphasized that the crime was not murder, but gross negligence. DeValconaire was sentenced to 6 years in prison, 3 for manslaughter, 6 for armed criminal action, served concurrently. It marked a rare moment. A white officer held criminally accountable for the killing of a black civilian in Missouri. Cameron Lamb's mother for action, the judge said, he rushed forward with his gun for manslaughter, 6 for armed criminal action, served concurrently. It marked a rare moment.
He got some time, right? It marked a rare moment. This is Missouri. This is the home state of Jesse James, where his house is a National Historical Landmark, even though he was a murderer. Never ever, there's nobody that was armed, man. Everybody he murdered that he ended, I want to get hit on one of these platforms. Everybody that he ended, they was unarmed. He was a Confederate. He was a devout Confederate. He believed in slavery. He believed black, so-called black people, we're cattle. We're chattel.
A white officer held criminally accountable for the killing of a black civilian in Missouri. Cameron Lamb's mother, Lori Bay, called the sentence fair. But the pain doesn't go away, she said quietly. His stepfather, Ackle Bay, hoped the conviction would...
Nothing fair about that sentence, man. That's just a woman hurt trying to say something that she felt like would be mending. We always expect black people to say something mending. They'd get up and hug that woman, Aaron Geiger, after she shot that brother in his apartment. And the judge coming over there, what the fuck? Why are we whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty?
Would shake up this police department and give people a voice. That accountability didn't last. Despite the conviction being upheld on appeal and affirmed by the Missouri Supreme Court, Governor Mike Parson commuted DeValconair's sentence in December 20.
You dumb son of a bitch! You dumb son of a bitch!
Y'all hear that? The conviction was held up on appeal. In comes the governor and says, nah, he's not doing that time.
2024. The former officer was released on parole before Christmas. Civil rights groups were outraged.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
This is a flagrant endorsement of systemic racism, said Gwendolyn Grant, president of the Urban League of Greater Kansas City. State lawmakers said bluntly, Cameron Lamb is dead. His killer is free. Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker,
whose possessors pity them not, or whose shepherds pity them not. These so-called leaders, these urban leagues and NAACPs and all that folly, don't got no power, can't make nothing happen.
the case, called the governor's move a betrayal. The judge had ruled fairly, based on facts. But politics, many said, had overruled the law. The case became a symbol, one invoked at racial justice protests across Kansas City. A viral example of police misconduct. A reminder that even a rare conviction...
Now, before we get up, this video is longer than what I thought it was going to be. So before we get off into the next video, we're going to get to the end of this one and deal with this last case. And I know y'all all familiar with it. But yeah, let's get to it.
A single shot shattered the glass and reignited momentum behind the Black Lives Matter movement. North Charleston's police department promised reforms. But the deeper issue, the racial disparity in how force is used, remained raw. Civil rights leaders pointed out the rarity of such convictions. Power. Record everything, bystander footage can reveal truth when
the cop that lied and said the brother had a tape.
He requested a simple welfare check. Beam swept across a backyard. May not protect you if you're racially profiled.
This is the one.
Walter Scott is no longer a name on a police report. He's a marker in the ongoing struggle for equal protection under the law. In the absence of justice delayed, this conviction delivered a signal. But a single verdict cannot repair centuries of imbalance. Number 9, Aaron Dean.
You can't have equal protection under the law when the law of the land says you're not even human. Well, you better ask somebody.
A flashlight beam swept across a backyard. A woman stood behind a window. 1 second later, a single shot shattered the glass and turned a wellness check into a fatal police encounter. Aaron York Dean had been a Fort Worth police officer for just 18 months when he responded to a non-emergency call shortly after 2 a.m. on October
18 months. Goddamn rookie.
12th, 2019. A neighbor had noticed Tashiana Jefferson's doors open and lights on late into the night. He requested a simple welfare check. Jefferson, a 28-year-old black woman, was inside playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. Dean and his partner arrived quietly. They did not knock. They did not announce themselves. Dean crept through the dark backyard, flashlight in one hand, gun in the other. Within seconds, seeing movement through the bedroom window, he shouted, "Put your hands up. Show me your hands," and fired a single round through the glass, killing Jefferson instantly. Her nephew later testified she had only gotten up to see who was outside. The bullet tore through her chest. Dean admitted in court that he never saw her hands, didn't confirm a threat, and failed to communicate with his partner before firing. Prosecutors argued his actions were not only reckless, but completely outside police protocol. Jefferson had a legal firearm nearby, but evidence showed she hadn't aimed it or even pointed it toward the window. During the 2021 trial, Dean's defense claimed he feared for his life, but the jury wasn't convinced.
How the fuck you fear for your fucking life and you peeking through a window? The person that you feared don't even see you. Goddamn devil.
They convicted him not of murder, but manslaughter. The sentence, 11
manslaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
years, 10 months, and 12 days. A subtle nod to the date she died. In court, Jefferson's sister...
And with all of that going on, we got shit like this.
Scott Michael Hannes. We need to talk about him because guess what? He was about to unalive 30,000 black people. Yes, you hear me right. 30,000 black people. So Scott is behind bars right now. But how many more of Scotts are out there?
30-year-old Scott Michael Hanna was arrested this morning by the FBI and appeared in court this afternoon. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is live in the newsroom after talking with some neighbors about what happened. Evan?
Brooke, Jack Hanna is facing 5 years in prison for a tweet put out on X yesterday, and he's charged with making an interstate communication with a threat to injure. The FBI showed up this morning after that tweet caught their attention.
Called me and said, "You won't believe it, but the police are out here."
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors. Federal agents surrounding his home, shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a
Vehicles look pretty military, don't they? It's an armored military vehicle.
racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati police reported the post to the FBI, who reached out to local law enforcement, saying Hanna had a history with them. In a prior incident in September of 2024, Hanna used a sword to strike a woman in the neck, resulting in serious injury and what police called a partial decapitation.
A partial decapitation of a woman. How is this motherfucker on the street? Please explain to me how this dude is on the street.
Approached by officers, he became irate, yelling and calling one of them a racial slur. On Friday, the FBI released a statement saying in part, quote, "The FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact the entire community and have serious consequences," end quote. Neighbors I spoke with said it's scary what happened and they hope Hanna can get the help he needs. Another neighbor,
Get the help he needs.
You dumb son of a bitch!
Get the help he needs. They said they hope he can get the. Oh, this is a very bad. You killed 30 people. What's the matter with you? Oh, I have 5 different personalities. Oh, this is very peculiar. We have to get together and study this. Black people can't say that same thing. Like Paul Mooney said, we get football numbers for the same crimes that the Caucasian folks get, 4 or 5 years. Look at that video we just watched with the cop killing all these cops killing all these black folks. Slaps on the wrist. And these are the ones that just happen to be the ones that actually got convicted. And look at how many of them only got in trouble because there was video. Had it not been no video, they would have just threw it away. But the same video evidence can't vindicate black people, though. That's crazy. Video evidence of what happened in Cincinnati, which is where this cat is at, which is where he's planning on doing his little, terrorist attack. The video evidence is everybody knows. It's been talked about. The guy that you slapped was trying to split up the situation and get the guy out of your face that you was getting into it with, even though you out there saying the N-word this, N-word that. This world is wicked as hell, man, and it leads this nation is the arrowhead, man.
who has lived here for years, says the police have been to Hanna's unit 3 times in the last year.
I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on just like the recent history, but one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible,
Now, Hanna did not enter a plea in court today and is scheduled to appear next on August 13th for a preliminary hearing. Live in the newsroom, Evan Bales, 2 News.
So you mean to tell me this man, Scott Hanna, was free? He was free after he allegedly used a sword to almost decapitate a woman? He was out?
Yes, he was. This world is crazy, man. We just got to keep it 400, man. But we can go back to the scripture. What does it say? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them. The penitentiary ain't nothing but slavery, bro. And so it was the transformation of slavery from personally owned black people to state and federally owned black people. It's still owning humans. Your property in there. They sell them and say, "Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich." All these private prisons, getting this money off black people, all this, these private prisons. Y'all know about the private prisons in California suing the state of California for not getting them inmates? Look into that. It's big business. Blessed be the Lord. I am rich from selling humans. And the justice system is all wrapped up in it together. Y'all girl Shamla Harris, she was doing her best. It made she supposed to release that she was not releasing because they were being used as labor for the state. This place wicked as hell, man. And their own shepherds pity them not. Weak ass Al Sharpton and all of them. Who mess with them? I'm just saying, man. Who they represent? I mean, say what you want. Hey, man, I got one more thing I want to show y'all before I get y'all out of here, man. And this is gonna explain a lot of what we just seen, if you can understand and get the message. I have an obligation to do my part to wake up God's people and to understand. I come to understanding
because you don't know
everything that we
nobody
go through.
told you who wrote.
I come to understand everything that we go through. All of these things that we go through, the reason that we're going through, it's all in the prophecies, man. But it's not gonna be easy to just pick up a book and just read it, though. It's not gonna work that way. It's gonna have to, you know what I'm saying?
I'm Judah.
It's not gonna work that way. You understand? It's gonna take a lot of hard late night oil, man. Getting with the spirit and getting off into that word and studying it. I mean, like really studying it. It's gonna be sweet to the taste, but bitter to the stomach. When you really come to understand what this thing is all about, it's all about you. It's all about you. It's too much to try to go into right now. I don't want to overload nobody's cerebral cortex, but I'm gonna drop a jewel for y'all. And I pray that it touch your mind and your body and your brain, man, because man, for this world to hate us so much, man, we must be special to God. We ain't done nothing to nobody, man. And Christ said the world gonna hate you because they hate him. That's why he said to be in love with this world is to be his enemy. For God so loved the world. Hey, I don't know what y'all talking about. But check this out, man. Just for the food for thought.
The so-called African American, the lion of the Southern Kingdom. We're waking up now. I'm called African American. I'm Judah, the so-called African American, the lion of the Southern Kingdom. We're waking up now.
I'm Benjamin, the so-called West Indian, the wolf of Zion. I move fast, talk real. We're waking up now.
I'm Levi, the so-called Haitian, priest of the Lord. We taught the law, now we stand to enforce it. We're waking up now.
I'm Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Rican. I lead the Northern Kingdom. We rising, and we waking up now.
I'm Manasseh, so-called Cuban, strong like the ox, firstborn of Joseph.
Bold like Cuba, strong like the ox.
Still standing, we waking up now.
I'm Simeon, so-called Dominican. I don't forget, I don't fold. We bring the sword of truth, we waking up now. I'm Zebulon, the so-called Panamanian and Guatemalan. We come from the coastlines, we built, we bled, but now we rise, we waking up now.
I'm Gad, the so-called Native American. They overcame us with war, now we rise with truth, we waking up now. I'm Reuben, the so-called Seminole. We survived the swamps, the raids, the lies, but now we stand up, we waking up now.
I'm Asher, the so-called Colombian to Uruguayan. From olives to oil, we were blessed to anoint kings, but now we waking up.
I'm Issachar, the so-called Mexican. We bore the burden in silence, but now we rise, we waking up now.
I'm Naftali, the so-called Chilean and Argentinian. Swift as a deer, but now our steps return home, we waking up now.
Yeah. I mean, take it, take the information, do whatever you want to do with it. I mean, it's up to you. But, you know, just I wanted to share that because there's got to be a reason, man. You know what drew me into the information gathering that I got off into was the condition of my people. I've been raised my whole life and told to fear and love God, and Christ died for you, and love Jesus with all your life and all your heart. And have that picture of Cesare Borgia hanging on the wall in my mama's house, and we be good and be righteous and forgive those enemies and pray for those that use you despitefully. Pray for your enemies. Like that Christianity talk, man. And I saw my people, like in most cases growing up, I see my people be on the receiving end of a lot of messed up stuff. Even though they were still on that Martin Luther King, we shall, a kumbaya and all of us come together thing. Still got treated like dogs. You understand? And I started begging God to explain this to me, because if you love us so much, why are we getting treated like? Why you letting this happen to us? And the master put me on a mission. 8 years old, I picked up my first encyclopedia and I started reading just anything, everything. I wanted to know the real about our people. The slavery stuff wasn't enough. As you heard the teachers, you heard people talking about we come from kings and queens and all that. They didn't give me no names of none of these kings. I done heard names of kings. I heard of Julius Caesar. I heard of Napoleon. I heard of Hitler. If I heard of these kings and queens we supposed to come from, well, I'm here to tell you, I know who the kings and queens we come from now. I know that we are royal priests and kings and princesses, Zion. And I can prove it. It's the very condition in what we're going through proves it. We gonna get more off into it, man. I don't want to, but man, watching these kind of videos, man, it's like it really rocked my world, man, because like I said, we stay on the receiving end, man. We've been perverted to a point to where we're the tools of our own oppression. We take it out on each other. The condition. We take it out on each other. The fact that we are in this country and in the position we're in. We take it out on one another. We don't take it out on nobody else. And we get ridiculed for that. But look, we go to prison when we take it out on one another. You know what I mean? Some real talk, man. But nah, man, man. This day, it had to be an answer. And I didn't stop looking and reading and studying until I found it. I found it now. It match up like a fingerprint. I know who we are. And I know why this thing is the way it is. And I know how we survive through it. But coming back to God's law, statutes, and commandments and understand who and what we are, with who God said we are. We'll be all right through it. But we got to do it that way. No other way is going to work. We have no business trying our best to be like these other nations, these other people, man. We're not them. We who God said we are. And that's what you should be studying and trying to understand. Who did God say you are? Because he didn't tell you was a nigga, a negra, a Niger, a black man. None of that. We're the only people in America whose nationality keeps changing. That shows you that we're property and that we're not respected as a people. But yeah, man, I don't want to talk too much more, man. We done had an hour, man. And I've enjoyed myself, and I hope all of y'all enjoyed yourselves, man, because, hey, we all we got. Thank y'all for tuning in to the show. All the homies that popped in here, Big U. I see my boy Leon is in the house, man. Shouts out Big Leon is in the house. My boy Big L, Leroy up in there, man. What's up, big bro? And then my man Michael Graves is in here. Theopolis, Anthony, man, you always popping in, man. Shouts out to all of the folks that tuned in to the show, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all to death, love y'all to life, man. So much to do, so little time, folks. Not quite sure how we gonna get it done, but we gonna have to figure out something because we running out of time, yo. Need to gather ourselves together because we a nation that's not desired. Nobody wants us. So we need to gather ourselves together, man, and be there for one another, man. Because, oh, man, we all we got. And everybody going to get forced to go to their own people in a minute. All this all this new racial tension. It ain't really new. America's always been racist. It's founded on racism. But the fact that the sugar coat is coming off, hey man, things are strange, yo. That's all I'm saying. Things are a little strange. But hey, shouts out to all my loved ones on YouTube, signing off to y'all first, man. Peace and blessings, man. Love y'all to death, love y'all to life.